Welcome everyone to today's session. We're going to be looking on Google Chrome features that will make your life easier. Now, let me know the Google Chrome users in the chat. Indicate in the chat with a 1. Are you a Google Chrome user? Now, most computers come with Microsoft Edge. Most PCs, I should say, come with Microsoft Edge. And Google Chrome is an extra browser that you'd have to download. So these are the steps to go through to download the browser. Now, as I said, it doesn't come with your computer. You actually have to download it and install it in order to use these particular features that it has. So I'm a Chrome user myself. I prefer it. I love it. It gives me all the features that I need in a browser. So it's my go-to browser. It's the one I use most times. So somebody says they use Safari. Yes, but occasionally use Chrome. So you can use other browsers, but Chrome definitely is one of the top web browsers that exists out there right now. And some of these features that we're going to be looking on today are some features that some persons are not even using and are losing out on. You always want your browser experience to be as good as possible. We already have too many problems, so don't let your browser browsing be one of them. So you just have to download the Google Chrome browser in order to use it. So you go to google.com/Chrome and just follow the regular instructions for downloading and installing on your computer. Now, the first one that we're going to be looking on, how to use incognito mode in Google Chrome. Have you ever heard about incognito mode? Now, what this does is it allows you to have, as it says, a private window, an incognito window that you open. And why use this instead of your regular browser window? Incognito windows do not keep any history. You can't track anything that you're doing in this particular area. So suppose you're searching for something that, if somebody else uses your computer, you don't necessarily want them to know that you are searching for that. You can use the incognito mode. So let's say for gift shopping, anybody that was buying things for a Valentine and you didn't want your Valentines to know that you're searching for gifts, you can use incognito mode. Or for whatever reason, you don't want persons to track your history. Note that incognito mode doesn't mean that if somebody goes into your IP address area and things like that, they can't find where you were going or browsing. But for general persons, most persons don't know anything about that. So you can use this particular feature if you want your history not to be tracked. So has anybody ever used the incognito area? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to go over to Chrome now so that we can actually test and see what does this look like. So here I have a new tab open. So all you would do, as the step showed you on the slide, you would just right click on this area here. Let me just change this so that we can see it more clearly. Let me just adjust something so that we can see things a little bit more clearly. All right, so let's go back to the browser area. So there are 3 little dots that are here. So all you do, you click these 3 little dots and you see it says new incognito window and you just open it. Now what happens sometimes is that what if you are having problems with a particular site, remembering your passwords and things like that, you can use incognito mode. If you're testing anything new, yes, I see that Mark said if you're testing, you can use the incognito mode as well because it's not remembering any passwords or anything that you have already gone to and used. So it's a good place to just search if you don't want your history to be recorded. I use incognito mode all the time. And as I said, sometimes you may have your regular websites that remember your password. And suppose you're logging into maybe a new email account and you know your regular email, it remembers your password and you don't want to have to sign out. You can use your incognito mode, log into this new email, and your other email information is just there safe, waiting for you to go back to it. So that's the incognito mode. So I see some persons say they have used it, others have not. So this is a place that you definitely need to explore and try it out and see how best it works for you. Now, having spoken about history, you can also delete your Chrome history. Some persons don't want their history to be stored. It's using up space and things like that. So you may want to delete your Chrome history so that everything is fresh, nothing is recorded. You can also set it that your history is not recorded, but we're not looking on that part. We're looking on how we go about deleting it. So it's the same area that you saw me go before, where we went to those three little dots on the top right. So you would go here and you have more tools and you go to clear browsing data. So for this section here, you'll see different options come up. So here where you see it has all of these checked, you would uncheck the option that you're not concerned with. So if you don't want your cookies to be cleared, you uncheck that. If you don't want your cache to be cleared, I'm sure a lot of you always hear when you go to some sort of support, they always say, clear your cache, clear your cache. This is where you go to do that as well. So you would just leave the browsing area checked and it says it clears history from all signed in devices. Your Google account may have other forms of browsing history at this particular website. Now notice that there's a time range that you're given. So you can clear your browsing for the last hour, 24 hours, 7 days, 4 weeks, and all time. Bear in mind that depending on the option that you choose, it will take different time periods to complete, because obviously if you're clearing your browser for all time, that and you're a person that browses regularly, it will take a very long time to clear. So whichever option you choose, this is the area you go to clear your history, and then you would simply click clear data when done. Has anybody here ever cleared their history? Clearing history is something that people do from time to time, so you can check out that section and clear your history. So would incognito mode help in saving space? Not necessarily, but since it's not keeping track of your history, then yes, you wouldn't have your history being backed up with additional searches that you're doing. So yes, in that respect, you're saving space with data collection. Let's look at it like that. All right, so for the person, so Mary just came in, where do I click to get the incognito mode? You will click on the three little dots that are on the top right hand side of your screen. So here, these three little dots here, and then we go to more tools and clear browsing data. So remember, this session is being recorded, so you'll see all of this information here in the recording. All right, so clearing your browser, that's a feature that some persons may want to explore so that you can, as it says, have a better browsing experience. Now let's look at the other option that we have that persons may not know about when it comes to Chrome. Now you can share your Chrome with guest mode. Now, who has ever had to lend someone their laptop to use, their desktop? Have you ever lent a friend your computer to use? And you know that it's your personal computer, you have it set up in a way that is easy for you to use. It remembers your password, because remember, we set it up to remember our email, or all our logins are there and things like that. Have you lent your friends your computer to use? All right, so definitely I see everybody saying yes, 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 because obviously we lend our friends or family members. But Google has a feature where you can share your laptop in guest mode. So what you would do, you would set up this area for whoever is using the computer, and that's the section that they would do their searching and their browsing, and it won't remember any of what your setup is, your passwords or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about anyone getting into anything they're not supposed to be in. So this is definitely a feature that a lot of persons will explore, because you will have other persons using your computer and so on. All right. So just checking to make sure that everyone is still hearing me. Just checking in the chat. Let me know that you're hearing me clearly. Now for the guest mode, let's look and see where we go to find that particular feature to share the guest area. So you'll find that a lot of these features that I'm going through, you will find them by going to those same three little dots that I mentioned earlier and seeing the option. All right, so let's head over to the browser itself and check to see what that's all about. So let me go there. and we check that out. All right, good. Thanks for letting me know you're hearing me. All right, so let's look for the guest mode section, because I knew I had it. I'm not seeing it now, but I'm going to find that for you guys so that I can show you that particular area. All right, so let me just check back on this little part here. So who has used the guest mode? Have you ever heard about the guest mode? The guest mode section? Let me know. Because what I usually do is that I tend to sign out of all of my particular areas because I don't want persons to be signed in and being able to see what things I have set up and so on. So the guest mode is something that actually saves time where that is concerned. So this is a feature I definitely try to use so that I don't have to do all of that. All right, so I'm going to come back. So somebody says they have, yes, they have heard of the guest mode. All right, and have you used it? Because the thing is, we know a lot about these features, but we don't actually use them. So have you heard about it and used it? Always make sure that you use the particular features that you learn about. All right, so I'm going to show you where we find that particular thing. All right, let me go over here and find that for you. All right, I'm not seeing it right now, so I'm going to go back to that section there. So let's check out the other one, and I will come back to that one. All right, so there is another feature that we can use as well. Have you ever heard about casting, screencasting? Who knows about screencasting? Now, this actually makes you be able to project your screen so that persons can see what you are showing. So you can show what's on your screen using Google Chrome. So some of these things can be done on the laptop as the mobile as well. And some of them, of course, are linked to desktop. All right, so Ken is reminding me that I would go to profile and then access the guest mode. All right, thank you, Ken, because I don't know why I wasn't seeing it where I was going right there. All right, so for the guest mode, Ken told us where we can check for that. So where the casting is concerned, have you ever used the screencasting feature in Google Chrome? Yes? No? All right, so no, persons haven't used the screencast feature. So here on the image, you see that we would go to the same little three dots that we have here. These are usually menu options, and you see this cast area here. So I wouldn't be able to actually show you the cast, because what it will do is that based on you clicking that option, it will bring up other options to look for the device that you want to show your screen to. So whether it be a TV or so on, obviously you would have to have additional connections, whether it be a wired connection or a Bluetooth connection to be able to show what's on your screen on a TV and so on. But it's good to just know that that particular feature exists so that you can use it. All right, so be aware of the screencast area. So let's check that out just to show you where you would go to find that particular section, because I know that the image is not as clear. So I just want to show you in the area as well. All right, so let me move stuff out of the way. So here we would go to the browser area, and when you click here, you'll see that you have cast. And when you click it, you see it says looking for devices. I'm not connected to any device now, but based on how you have your connections, whether it be a wired connection or wireless, based on the Bluetooth or whatever setup you have, you can do so. And you see that there's a sources area here that you can also explore based on what your setup is. Now, you'll be surprised that there are some features that a lot of everyday things that we use, we don't explore. So that's the purpose of this particular session, just to open your eyes to what browsers have, whether it be Google Chrome browser, or just to make sure that you are exploring whatever devices or applications you're using right now to find hidden features or features that will make your life easier. All right, so you can check out those. Now, this is another feature that I particularly love with Google Chrome because I am an avid YouTube user. Now, integrated YouTube control. Now, with this particular feature, you can have a video open in YouTube itself and be able to move from different tabs and see the controls for YouTube and be able to control your video from another tab. So Chrome allows you to control YouTube no matter which tab you actually have open. So when you're playing a video on the platform, the browser window, you can see the menu in the browser area and you can click on it and see what you're currently playing. You can view the video and so on. So you can play back and there's a pop-up window that shows the video itself. Who has ever used integrated YouTube control? Because have you ever been on YouTube and you have YouTube open in one tab and then you have to be doing some research in another tab and you would really want to go back and stop the video or pause the video, so you have to move from that tab and go to the other tab? Well, this particular feature that Chrome has reduces that time. Remember, time from moving from one place to another is something that you want to minimize. So I'm going to go to youtube.com. Let's test this out. So youtube.com, and I'm just going to pick a random video, just a random video to play. All right, just any video. Let's look. Okay, I said any video, but all right. American Idol. Everybody knows American Idol. All right, so this video is here playing. So I'm going to just wait till it comes out of the ad. All right, so we have this American Idol video. So let me pause it. But I'm not going to pause it because I want to show you that we can pause it elsewhere or play it. Now, this additional option comes up on the screen. This part here. It says control your music videos and more. So what happens when I click this button here? You see it showing me the video. All right, so I'm going to come out and go into another tab. Let's say I go to yahoo.com. All right, so I have my video over here. I'm playing it. I'm on Yahoo. Let me turn her down. So I have the same controls here. I can pause, I can skip through, or if I want to see the video itself in the new tab that I am in, I can see it, I can play it. Note that I'm in another tab. I open another tab and I can still control or pause or even full screen the video by going back to YouTube. So this particular option allows you to be in different tabs and be able to use YouTube very seamlessly. So you can watch your videos and work at the same time. Flip back and go to the video. So here I'm in the other tab again. As I see, I can click this. I have the video here. And I can, as I say, have the picture-in-picture mode and basically manipulate the video here as needed. So being a YouTube user, I find this feature very useful. So I hope some of you will try this out and see how it works for you. So who has used that particular feature? You can let me know in the chat. Or who likes it. I like it. It's a feature I use all the time because it's something that, as I said, it allows me to be able to still be on YouTube and be able to work in other windows at the same time. So that's the great thing about that particular feature. All right, so Carrie says she's loving my ninja secrets. Yeah, ninja. Anything we do stays here. Don't tell anyone. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the slide and look at the other feature that you can do in Google. So for this one now, you can right click to search Google. So how many of us, if we see a particular word that we want to know the meaning of, you open a new tab in the browser and then you type in the word and then you look for the meaning and so on. Did you know that right there and then on the web page, you can just select the word or phrase that you want to search for and simply click search Google. The option is there. Remember, these things are saving you extra steps. Extra steps always save time. And as they always say, time is money. So we don't want to spend time doing, sorry, unnecessary stuff. All right, so here we are on this particular Yahoo page. Let's see what they're saying about McDonald's, this particular story. So suppose I didn't know anything about TikTok. I would select TikTok, and then I right click, and I can search Google for what in the world is TikTok. And right away, it opened another tab giving me information all about TikTok. So the other steps I would have to do if I didn't know about that feature would be to open a tab, type in TikTok, all right, and then press enter. You see how many extra steps I saved just by using that particular feature in Google. So remember, any little thing that can save your time is something that you always want to be exploring. So who's going to try out that particular feature? Let me know in the chat. TikTok. Who's on TikTok, by the way? Anybody on TikTok? Give me a one in the chat. We know that TikTok is the latest internet craze. Everybody's on TikTok. Any TikTok users here? All right. So TikTok persons are here. I knew we'd have at least one TikTok person. So, all right. So you're also on TikTok. All right. So let's look at this other feature that we have here. I know this has happened to me many times, so I know it has happened to you as well. Who has accidentally closed a tab? We were thinking we were closing something else, and we closed a tab that we were using. It was data that we needed, and we didn't make note of the URL. We don't know how to find back the website. Who has that happened to? Me, many times. Raise your hand. Give me a one. All the ones. This has happened to us all the time. Well, did you know that right there in Google Chrome, you had an option that you could use to reopen a closed tab? You can reopen a closed tab. There's actually a keyboard shortcut that you can use for this. But if you don't even know about that, it's right there in Google Chrome where you can reopen a closed tab. So let's head on and let's try this out. So here I was on my McDonald's thing right here. So let's say I was reading this article, I'm interested in it. Oops, I closed McDonald's, right? So I would right click and I would go to, let me go back over here, reopen the closed tab. And here is my McDonald's article waiting for me. So notice that I right clicked where there was no other tab. Don't right click on the tab itself because you'll get different options. Right click on the empty area right over on the far right. All right. So please thank me later because I'm guilty of closing tabs all the time. You know, sometimes you have a million tabs open. I usually have a million on one tab open and I close tabs by mistake. So this particular feature is one that will definitely come in handy. And I know a lot of persons may not be aware that that's a built-in feature that Google Chrome has. There's also a keyboard shortcut combination that you can use. So if you're using a PC, you would hold down the CTRL button, which is a control, as well as the shift button and the letter T, and it does the same thing. So if you can remember the keyboard shortcut, you can use this to use the reopen your closed tab. So I'm sure that this is a particular feature that will come in handy. So make sure that you are going to use it. We won't have anybody crying and say, oh my gosh, I closed my tab, because you'll know how to just get back the tab. You say, I closed my tab. So what? I can get it back. So that particular feature is very handy. Now, just like how you can close and reopen your closed tab, you can also pin your tabs. All right. So let's see what someone is saying. So reopen tabs only works per session. Yes, per session. So if you close Google Chrome and come back, no, there will be no reopen tab. So yes, if you close the entire session, that's different. But if you close a tab and you still have your current Google Chrome window open, you can use this feature. All right. So yes, the recording will be sent out after the session once it's ready. So you can pin your tabs as well. Pin in your tab. So just like how I said before, you have many tabs open. Sometimes there's a tab that you want to keep tucked away keep it safe, out of the way, so you don't risk closing it, you can pin the tab itself. Now, for this particular feature, you would need to right click on the tab that you want to pin. So let's go to my search tag. Let's say my YouTube. I want to pin my YouTube. So I'm heading over to the YouTube. So I would just right click on the tab that I want to pin, and then I would select pin. And what it does, if anybody knows favicon, a favicon is usually an icon that is used to represent a particular website. So you notice that now the only thing that shows is the favicon for YouTube, which is the play button, and you're not seeing the words YouTube. So it just tucked it away there, waiting safe for me when I want to use it. And if I want to unpin it, same feature, just right click on the tab itself and unpin. So this is just a feature to use. Just make sure that you're securing some of your tabs that you don't want to accidentally close. It's there tucked away, and you can unpin it or even use it while it's still pinned. So let me know which feature you have liked so far. We have looked at quite a few. Which one are you going to use? We looked at the incognito window. We looked at the deleting your browser history, sharing your guest mode. So Kim says saving the and closing the close tab. Definitely that's one I love. We have the screencast, cast your screen. Kerry says she's going to be using all of them. And we have the integrated YouTube control. All right, yes, I love that one as well. Right click to search on YouTube. I love that one because if you are someone who, whenever you encounter some, things on a website that you're not sure about, you can easily just search for them without having to do any extra steps to look for those particular words. All right. So yes, Ken, I'm going to show you the example of where you go to find the guest mode. So it's just to find the guest. We're not using the guest mode itself, but you just know where to find it. All right. So you find the guest mode itself on the screen. All right. So let me just check something here just to make sure I have everything set as I should. All right, so the YouTube one. All right, somebody said they missed what I did with the YouTube one. What I did, I went over to YouTube. So let's say you have YouTube and you're opening YouTube. So youtube.com. And then when I go to YouTube, I'm going to open any random video. So let's say you're going through videos and so on, any random video. Let's look at any random video. Yes, any random video. All right, so let me just go on this one. They're saying Travis Barker is dating Kourtney Kardashian, whoever follows that. All right, so what happens is that when you open the video, if you go to another tab, here I'm on another tab, or I'm on the McDonald's tab, there's an extra button that comes up here that looks like a musical icon. When you click it, it will show you whatever is playing, and you can pause. You can actually have picture in picture. So all the way down here on the bottom right, you see the video. So you can even be watching the video while you're browsing on this particular page. So it allows you to be able to control YouTube while you are in different tabs. So if you are an avid YouTube watcher, this comes in handy and it saves you a lot of time. All right, so it's definitely something that you can use often. All right, so for Ken now, so Ken, I'm going to show you where you find the guest mode when you're in the browser itself. So usually when you sign into your Google Chrome, it will pick up whatever your Google information is. So if you can see right here on the top right here, you see your picture, and you see that you have, let me move this out of the way, we have guests. All right, so when you go to guest now, this opens another window and lets you know you're browsing as a guest. See what it says? Pages you view in this window won't appear in the browser history, and they won't leave their traces like cookie and so on after you close all open guest windows. All files you download, however, will still be there. So you see, it seems as if guest mode is kind of like incognito mode, but it's just not a pretty way of allowing your guests to be able to browse through certain things and so on. All right, so let me show you again how you get to guests. So when you have your browser window open, your icon your Google Chrome, your Google icon right here at the top screen, whether you have a picture or you have just a regular, colored icon. You click on it and then you see guests. So when you go to guests now, it shows you that you're browsing in guests. They can go on whatever they want. So if they want to go to google.com, they can. They can go to google.com. They can browse as regular. The only thing is not keeping track of any history. So your emails, your passwords, any particular website that you go on that you allowed it to remember your password, it will not keep that. So people can just browse freely. You don't have to worry that, oh my gosh, somebody's getting in my email and looking on my confidential information, or they're logged into my Canva. Remember, if you're, suppose the person uses Canva as well, they will log into your Canva and so on. So it just makes sure that nobody gets into any of your personal things that you have with your personal computer that you have set up. We always, even though they say we're not to, why is the feature there? They say we're not to necessarily have our passwords be remembered, but why do they have the remember password feature, right? So it's just more convenient than having to type in your password each time you want to use a particular website. So I am guilty of that too. I allow my computer to remember all my passwords. So the guest mode is there for persons who don't want to have to deal with worrying about persons accessing what they shouldn't. So let's look at the other particular feature that we can use in Google Chrome. So here we have open specific pages at start. Now what this does is that when you open your particular browser from scratch, as in open your browser to do some work, you can set it up that there are certain pages that will be open when you do so. So suppose you know that you like to check Yahoo all the time. You're a Facebook checker. You check any particular website. You can set up in your browser to allow you to have that website automatically be opened once you open your browser, as it says at the start. All right. So can the guest close the guest mode? Can the guest close the guest mode? Yes, they can close the guest mode. They can close the guest mode. All right, so I guess we're going to be watching the guest while they're in the guest mode. But you set up the person on that, and most persons aren't even thinking that they're in a guest mode. They're just going through the motions and so on. So for those who still did not see me do the guest mode, all right, I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to show you how we set up the specific pages. So in the guest mode, no plugins or menu. So we're not seeing any additional options there as well. All right, so somebody's asking, how did you get back to the guest mode? So I'm going to show you one more time. So remember, we click on our icon here, our Google icon at the top, far top right. Look all the way in the corner, top right. Click on it and go to guest. And you see that we're seeing all the things here. Now, the guest mode doesn't have anything there because it hasn't been set up with anything special, nothing like that. As you see, it just says guest. So it doesn't have any add-ons or any extensions or anything like that, because there's nothing set up. It's plain. It doesn't keep track of anything or remember anything. So you can use that particular area. So let's see now. So we talked about opening pages on start. So if you want a particular page or so to open when you are using your browser for the first time, you would have to set that up. So as I said, most of the areas you'll see we find in settings. So I'll click on these three dots here as shown before. So the three dots, we're going to click on that, and then we are going to go to settings. All right. So here in the settings area, you have on start. See it here on the left, on start. So whether you want on start to be a new tab, so when you open on start, meaning when you open your browser for the first time, it opens in a new tab. That's how most persons' browser opens, on a new tab. Or it can have it on continue where you left off. So if there's a particular thing you were doing and when you open it again, you want to have that, you can continue where you left off. Or you can open a specific set of pages or a page. So this is the one I'm looking on. But know that this area on start, allows you these three things. So you can explore them some more when you get the chance. So we're going to be looking on open a specific page or set off pages. Note that this is when you open your browser for the first time. All right. So I am going to close my browser so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to close it. All right. So close it. And then here, down here, I'm opening it for the first time. So you see that mine is set to open with a new tab. See, it opens with a new tab. That's what it did. Opens with a new tab. So if I wanted to open a specific page, that's what I'm going to do now to set that up. So I go here, my three dots, go to settings, and on startup, I want it to open a particular page. So we'll go to on startup, and I want it to open a specific page. So here I will go to add a new page, and you have to have the URL for the website that you want it to open with. So let's say I want it to open yahoo.com, right? So I type in www.yahoo.com and I add it. And let's say I want it to open another one. Let's cross our fingers and hope this works, right? You know that you do these tests and when it's time, it won't work. So I added Facebook, and let's say I'm adding another one, .youtube.com. All right, so add. Okay, so let's test this out. Cross your fingers. Let's hope. Let's hope. All right, so did you say on start up? No, not start. On start, as in ON. So when you open your browser for the first time, that's when these pages will come up based on what you set up. So if I close my browser here, this X will close my entire browser. And as you can see, I've set it up that Yahoo should open, Facebook should open, YouTube should open. So let's check it out. So I'm going to close it. All right. And I'm going to open it now. All right. So I told it that on start, meaning ON, start. When I start up my browser, what should open? Yahoo. Is Yahoo there? Yay. Is Facebook there? Yippee. And is YouTube here? Definitely. So if I know that these are the websites that I always open in the first place, who has set websites that anytime they go on, they open the websites. They open that particular website. I have certain websites that as I open my browser, I'm going there in the first place. So why not set it up that as soon as you do open the browser, those websites are automatically open because those are the ones you're going to in the first place. So let me know who is going to try out this feature. So I know I want to have Yahoo, I want to have Facebook, I want to have YouTube. Where else do I go? I think those are my main ones. And of course, any website that you use for work, you may want those to be opened as well. So this particular feature is definitely one that will save time. As I said, even if it's one or two steps you're saving, that's always important. Time, time, time. We don't want to be going through and looking at stuff that we don't need to. And of course, just set up things in a way where it's set up the way we need it to. All right. So that particular feature is one that is definitely one that I use a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other persons will use it as well. So let me know in the chat who's going to be using that particular feature. So just think about it. What websites do you always open when you go on the browser? Which ones are you always opening? Just set it up from the beginning that those are the ones that will open so that you can save your time. You don't have to waste time opening those particular browsers when you can spend the time doing something else. All right. So I'm going to go to the other. So somebody says currency exchange. So if that's a website that you're always going to, set it up so that it automatically goes there. Remember that you're going to make sure that you put the www and the name of the domain when you set up that particular area, just in case it needs the www. Put that there as well. So we're heading over to another feature that you can use. So let me know if you're liking this session so far. Sometimes, these are things that we need to go through. Some people don't even realize that these time-saving techniques or just knowing this particular feature can make your browsing experience so much easier. and more enjoyable. All right. So I love to introduce people to some of these things because these are applications that you use every day and you don't even realize that you're not using them to their full potential. Note that this is not an exhausted list. So there are so many other things that you can do, but just knowing this is the start to greater things. All right. So with the computer, there's so many things that we can do. With the internet, there's so many things that we can do. We can never exhaust the list. There's so many new things that come up from time to time. So always bear that in mind. So here we have drag and drop images and media. Now, did you know you could actually use your browser to put an image to view it, and you can use your browser to play a video? So we're going to check this out. I actually have a video of my cat that I'm gonna show you. My lovely cat. I hope you're able to see the video clearly. So let me go over here and open a new tab. And here I have my window that I have prepared for you. So what you do, you have your Explorer window open and you can drag the video or image over onto the browser and play it or view it. So let's look at the image first. So here I have an image. So I'll just drag it. Watch, drag, hold on my left mouse button and drag it, and it shows me the image. So that's the image. That's what I'm using on the slide presentation itself. So if I have a video, same thing. Have my Explorer, my File Explorer window open, and I'm going to drag this video. All right. No, nothing is moving. Nothing is moving. All right. Sorry about that. I forgot that I had my screen paused. All right. So I'm going to do that again. So you'll open a new tab. And then what you would do is that I have my File Explorer open and I have an image here I want to display or view. So I'll just drag it and drop, and I'm able to view the image here itself. All right. So I'm able to view the image in the browser. I will do the same with a video. I'll have my browser, my File Explorer window open. So here I have my File Explorer where I have my video and my thing saved. And watch this now. This is my little cat. Let's hopefully you're able to see the video clearly. I'm going to drag over the video and let's see what my little cat is up to. It started out a little blurry, but let's see if we can see her. Now she had a little injury where she was actually biting the side of her leg. So we had to put ointment on the leg. So we had to put a cone. Now we have her in the house. Let me play it again. So she has that cone on because her leg has ointment that we don't want her to lick. So we put the cone on her. So she's saying, all right, how do I get outside? So the cat just turned around and went through the grill because she saw that she could not fit through with her cone. All right. Yes, she's very smart. She's a very smart cat. All right. So similar to canva.com. Explain what you're saying for me, Christina. So with canva.com, that's doing some other features. This particular feature allows us to be able to play a video that we have in our browser itself. Instead of, suppose we didn't have any Windows Media Player or, any of those particular web video playing applications, it allowed us to be able to play it in the browser itself and view the image. All right. So yes, very smart cat. So she's always trying we allow her outside, but sometimes we want her to stay inside. And this particular time we wanted her inside, and she said, okay, I'm just going to turn around and come out. Chris, her name is Precious. And when I tell you that she's the complete opposite, she's my Precious though, but she's a terror. She's a terror little cat, but we love her very much. All right. So that was just a little video with my cat, just showing you how we play in the browser itself. We can play a video in the browser itself by just dragging and dropping the images or the media in the browser. All right. Now this one, guys, I know you hear me say all the time that each of these, this is something that you need to know and should know. This is one that a lot of persons are not aware that they can change. You can change your file download destination. All right. Okay. Yes, Christina, you can use drag and drop in Canva itself when you are uploading a video or uploading an image, but it's not really used in the sense that we're saying right now. But yes, you can use drag and drop in Canva. All right, so you can change your file download destination. Who knows that you could do that? Now you can decide where you want your files to be saved when you download them from the internet. Now, what some persons do is allow the default to be the option, as in however the computer was set up, that's where the downloads go. But you can decide where you want your downloads to go. So always bear that in mind, that that option is available in the browser, and this is where you would go to do so. All right. So as I said, everything is in your settings. Please explore your settings area. So you go to the three dots on the top right. Settings is where you will go. And then here, where you have advanced, you will see the downloads option. And as I said, you're able to choose where you want your files to be downloaded and so on. So note that there's an option that says ask where to save before downloading. So if you turn on this button, anytime you're downloading something, the computer will ask you. A message will pop up. Where do you want to save it? So if you want to have the option to choose different places at all times, turn this button on. So it will ask you each time before downloading. But suppose you want a set spot. Right now, everything here goes to my downloads folder. But I can change that. I can go to change, browse on my computer. Suppose I want everything to go to the desktop. I can choose desktop and everything will go there. I can create a folder on my desktop. I can do anything, but I just know that you can choose where you want the files that you're downloading to go. So who has selected this area? Have you changed where your downloads go? Are you in control of where your downloads go? Because a lot of persons actually let the computer control things. And remember, you are the one who is in control of how things are set up. So has anybody changed their download settings? You choose where you download. All right. So to repeat, where you download, so as I said, you go to settings. So you go to this icon here, the three dots, and you go to settings. And then after, you click on advanced. So here you have the download section. And you have two options. You're changing where you want the files to be downloaded, or you're letting the computer ask you each time before downloading. So if you turn on this button, it allows you to be prompted each time. Where do you want to download this? Where do you want to download this? Where do you want to download this? Some people may find that annoying, so they just choose one place and then they can move after. So you can decide how you want things set up. So if you're going to change where you want to downloads to go, you would click your change option and just click on whatever option you choose, your folder and so on, and the downloads will go to that particular area. So it's always good to be able to control where your files are downloaded. Why do we need to control or know where our files are downloaded? Why do we need to know where the files are downloaded? Why do we need to control this? Why do we need to know this feature? Let me know in the chat. Why do we need to know where the files are downloaded? Yes, has anybody ever heard or even said themselves, I downloaded it, but I don't know where it is. Who has said that statement? I downloaded the file, but I can't find it. Yes, that's a common thing that people say. So you don't want to be stuck having to say that. Know where your files are downloaded so that, as Chris says, you don't have to look for it so that you can find it. All right. So know where your files are downloaded. Choose your destination. And of course, choose a destination that you actually can find. So don't choose somewhere that you know you won't be able to find. All right. So bear that in mind and try out that particular feature. Now, this is one that I have not really used a lot myself. You're able to add a link to your desktop. So you can add a link to the desktop itself, as in add a shortcut to the desktop so that you can access a particular website more readily. All right, you can find that as well. You can use that particular option. So has anybody ever used this one, adding a link to the desktop itself? So you would have to have the particular tab open, the website that you want to use to add to the desktop. And let's look and see how that particular link works. All right, so let's head over to the browser so that we can see how this works. Yes, Christina, better organization as well, if you know where your files are downloaded. All right, so handy dandy YouTube. Let's go over to YouTube. So to do this particular feature, to create a shortcut on the desktop itself, same three icons here, these three dots. Then you go to more tools and you go to create shortcuts. All right. And you can choose what you want to name the shortcut as. So if you want it to be YouTube or whatever you want to name it as, and you create the shortcut. So I'm going to go over to my desktop. Yes, my desktop has a lot of stuff on it, so I don't even know if we can find it, but let's see. Let's see if we can find this easily. So let me just move some things out of the way so that we can, let me move this out of the way. All right, so here we have it, YouTube. Yes, my desktop is crowded. Please don't judge me. All right, and we have YouTube there on the desktop as an icon that I can just access easily. All right, so if there's a website that you know that you use often, just like how we saw that we have websites that we can have to start on startup if we are opening the browser itself, you realize you don't even have to open the browser itself. You can create a shortcut on your desktop of that particular website so that you can open the website straight, no matter what, whenever you want. I think that particular feature is very handy dandy when you need to find things easily. So always check and see what websites am I using all the time and see which one you would want to use that particular feature for. So we see that there are several features that allow us to be able to save time when it comes to accessing websites that we are familiar with using, that we use all the time. All right, so bear that in mind when you are browsing next time. What websites am I using all the time? Remember, always know time-saving techniques so that you are able to do more. All right. So someone asked for that to be repeated. So all I do, I have my website open here. Here I have my website. I want to keep track of YouTube. I want it to be saved on my desktop. So I go to these three little icons here, these three dots. Then I go to more tools and I click on create shortcut. Then I can change the name of the shortcut if I want. So suppose I wanted to call it YouTube access. I can do so. So I can even add access on it. All right. And then I click create. And let me minimize, go to my desktop, and here I have my icon where I can simply double click it easily and access the particular website that I wanted to keep. So I can access it anytime I want to. All right, so who's going to try out that feature? Let me know who is going to try it out. Who has been using that feature? Who has been using these? Remember, these are not anything that are new. These are some features that some persons have already been using. Some are using it now or learning about it now for the first time. As I say, it's never too late to be able to do these things. So if you weren't using them before, today is the day to start. And what I want to wrap up today's session with is Chrome Web Store for extensions. Now, if you have never heard about extensions, these add to the functionality of your website itself, the browser itself. It allows you to do so many more things with your browser. And how can you lose with more functionality? On its own, Google Chrome is great, but you can add extensions that allow you to do so much more. Now you find these extensions in the Chrome Web Store. So all you would do, you would go to youtube.com and not youtube.com. You would go to Chrome Web Store. So you'd search for Chrome Web Store. So you just open a new tab and simply just search for Chrome Web Store. And usually the first search result is the one that you are interested in. All right, so here it is, Chrome Web Store. And when you click on it, it allows you to search in this area for different extensions that exist. Suppose you know of an extension, you've heard of an extension. Alicia mentions extensions all the time. So you go to the Chrome Web Store, search for the extension that you want to use. Loom is a tool that has been mentioned before, so you can search for Loom. Loom has an extension, so you just type in Loom, press the enter button, and here it is, Loom. So if you want to actually install this extension, you click on it after you found it, and you will see an option here that says add to Chrome. Now mine says remove from Chrome because I already have it. But if you are using it for the first time, you would go to add to Chrome. Now, too many extensions slows down your browser. That's the question. Do too many extensions slow down your browser? It can slow down your browser, but to get out of that, you make sure that you only make the ones that you are currently using active. So if I know that I'm going to use in this web browsing session, I'm going to use 3 particular add-on Chrome extensions, I would turn them on. So I'll turn on those 3 and make them available to be used. And then if I'm not using them anymore, I turn them off. All right. So in order to turn on and off, remember that handy dandy 3 dots right here. So we come here, we go to more tools and extensions. So this shows us all the extensions that we have installed. We can turn them on or off. So you would turn on the ones you're using, turn off the ones you aren't using. I have a whole lot open here I'm not utilizing as I should, but you turn off the ones that you aren't using. Now, to usually access your extensions themselves, there's a puzzle icon you'll see here, and this is where you can access your extensions. So you just click this puzzle icon and you can scroll through and decide which ones you want to pin. So I have some here, which ones you want to pin to your menu area or which ones you don't want to have on. So you see that this little icon, it looks like a pin. So when I click it, you see it pinned it there. So note that whatever is pinned here is using up memory and so on. So unpin ones that you aren't using and pin ones that you currently are using. So extensions, trust me, they add a whole nother dimension to your web browser. They allow you to do so many different things. You can have a screen recorder, which Loom is, as you have heard in previous sessions. It allows you to record your screen. You can have any particular, you name it, it's there. And if you don't know which ones are available, simply go to your Chrome web store and you search. So if you want to have, let's say you want to convert it helps your PDF. Let's see if there is an extension for that. You have an extension called Smart PDF Converter Tool. And the great thing about extensions is that they're small, so you can simply add it, try it, or remove it if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to or thought it would. So they're a great addition to your browser that you need to definitely explore and add more functionality to your web browser. And for a better browsing experience, try out these particular extensions. So we've gone through so many different things, as we say, features that you may not have known that Google Chrome offered. Not to say that other browsers don't have their own tips and tricks up their sleeves, but Google Chrome is one of the top most used particular web browser, and it's one that you would find most persons using. So are they all free in the Chrome Web Store? You have paid extensions and you have free ones. You have some that have a free element and you can get the same one paid. With everything, just like with regular apps, you have paid, free, you have the free version of the paid, and you have the paid one. So you will know which ones are the paid ones because it will actually, so you see a price tag beside it. So you'll know which ones that you can use. But there are many, many free extensions out there that make your entire browsing experience very beneficial. All right, so what you can let me know, guys, in the chat is if you found this session helpful. Let me know which of these web tools that you learned about, these secrets, as the ninja secrets, as Kerry says, that you are going to particularly use, the Chrome extension features, Chrome features that will make your life easier. Which ones are you going to be using? So we have some persons say they'll use the open to start with specific pages. They're going to use the extensions. Definitely make sure that you do not make, you use at least 5 of these things. I would say all, but some of these things are not things that everyone will go into. But you can just let me know if you found this session helpful, and let me know that you will be using these browsers, because we want to make sure that we are all internet users, internet marketers, whatever your function, your profession is, freelancer. You want to make sure that your browsing experience is efficient and a good one. If you spend a lot of time on the internet, you don't want to be frustrated. So set up your browser in a way that makes your life easier, make you move through faster, and ultimately be more efficient with whatever task you have at hand. All right. So thank you for joining us in this particular session. Remember, the replay will be sent out as soon as it is ready. All right, guys. So bye. Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining. Take care.